Hi guys and welcome. So basically I have got a little app running here that helps me to level my skills. I've called it Jim's Macros because I don't think it can just be used for Valheim, but I think it could be used for other games, but I have kind of specified it specifically to Valheim. But this setup is completely customizable. But let's just get straight into it, and I'll show you working. And then I can explain more about the details later. Okay, so let's head into my house. And what I've got set up is a little training room, which is really easy to set up. Basically, you need a rock. I was quite lucky in that my base just happened to spawn right next to a rock, with the rock already near it. So I just kind of built around it, sealed it in, so that I can train in here. So basically, the idea is you can just stab this rock a bunch of times, and it will level up your skills. So let's take a quick look at my what my stats are at the minute. So I'll do the spears first. So that's on level 30. Not that experienced with the game, only started recently, but I heard about this training skills thing, so I didn't want to spend all day there clicking. Let's just make sure everything's repaired before I start. Okay. Right. So now what you would normally do is you would stand here and just keep spamming the click button. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run the app, and I'm going to choose, first of all I'm going to choose my spear that I set up earlier. So now I've published a version of this app. I'm happy to share the code as well, but essentially what it's going to do is it's going to click for me, it's going to do 30 times, and then it's going to wait for 100 milliseconds, and then it's going to wait for in between each click it's going to wait 100 milliseconds, sorry, and then it's going to take a 4-second break, and that's to let the stamina build back up. Okay, so let's just try that one. And when you click start, there's a 3-second gap before it actually starts in game. So you can click it, alt tab into the game, and then just wait, hands free. And now he is spamming the rock. Okay, so notice he did it a few times. I set that up perfectly to my character, just to when his stamina ran out. So there you go, it's already leveled up 1. We'll let him keep going for a while. And I'm going to speed this up a little bit by eating food. So you'll notice in the bottom left, hopefully you can see that, yep, that I'm not currently eating any food. Now, maybe I want to eat some raspberries or something like that while I'm doing it. But actually what I've got it set to do is I'll come out and stop it for a second. Okay, so now I've also got an eat berry option. So all I've done here is I've said, instead of the click option which I set for the spear, I created my own eat berry. Now you can just add your own action and it'll just add it to the bottom, and you can call it whatever you want and save this config. So I'm going to try it with the eat berry option as well as the spear. So if I uncheck all of those, now what it's going to do is it's just going to run those two. If I press, I'll just save it real quick, if I just press start all. Okay, so what it's going to do, eat berry, basically, it's only going to do it once. It's going to hit the key 5, which is the berry is set to 5, as you can see in a hotbar at the top left. And it's going to wait 60 seconds and it's going to press it again. So basically, all it's going to do is, wherever I'm spamming this with my spear, it's just going to try and keep eating berries. Okay, so I've pressed start all. You see that both went changed to green. And now he's eating a berry on his. So I'm not touching the keyboard, not touching the mouse either. He ate a berry on his own. Now, because I'm eating a berry, obviously my stamina pool's a little bit higher. So what I could do at this point, I'll eat some more food. In fact, just to kind of prove the concept, I'll let him punch one more. The idea is while he's doing this, you probably don't want to. You don't want to press. You don't want to alt tab out while he's in the middle of his action. So let's wait until he's finished and then press stop all. Okay, everything should have stopped now. The reason you don't want to press it while he's mid-action is because it's actually using up. It's actually pressing the keys for you in the game, essentially. So you know you don't want to be. It could just accidentally click on something in the app. It won't do any damage really, unless you've got something like type type the letter 5 essentially, and it'll click somewhere. But yeah, if you just wait until the action's over, try and give yourself a reasonable break time, just so you can alt tab out. But anyway, so let's say that we've got the eating berries stuff on. But let's eat some more food. So now my stamina pool, as you can see, is a lot larger. So what I want to do is actually, for my spear, I want to hit it more times before I take a break. Okay, so let's hit it 50 times. Let's save that, start all, and then let him go. Seeing it saying I can't eat more raspberries, it's not really an issue that it's doing that. Notice he struck it a lot more times before he stopped. It lets the stamina bar fill back up, and then starts hitting it again. Now if you had it even higher stamina bar than this, what you could do is you could extend the time from, I put it to 4,000 milliseconds, so 4 seconds basically. He waits 4 seconds before he starts attacking again, so obviously you could change that to 5 seconds. And I'll let him just waste his whole spear here for a second, but that's essentially the point in it. So you can add in your own additional actions. There you go. His spear skills improved, and I didn't hit the thing once. Eventually, the spear is going to get broken. I guess I can keep explaining things while he breaks his spear and keeps leveling up his skill. So what's going to happen that when he breaks his spear, he's just going to start punching it. So in theory, you could walk away. Come back. It doesn't matter if you're a little bit late. See, he's still trying to eat the raspberries. Hands nowhere near the keyboard or mouse. He's still trying to eat the raspberries because I told him to do those 2 actions, which I configured myself. Like I say, you can customize this yourself. So obviously, once he's broken the spear, he's going to be leveling up his melee. Now, there's a few other things that I've set up for this, and I'll show you in a minute. As soon as his spear's broken, so there you go, another level. So I've leveled up twice, and I could have just been going and getting a cup of tea, you know, English. There you go. So now he's just punching it. So I could have still been away. It's fine. I can come back when I'm ready. He's still training his melee, and then I'll just come back, stop the program, and let's stop it now. Stop all. And then we can go and repair the spear. Okay. Right. So now, let me show you the next bits. So what we've also got is a couple of things here. Now, I'm not sure if you know about this one, but let me show you how to place this just in case you don't. If you were doing a building, you would place a wall, and what you want to try and do is clip it on the roof. But when it clips, just try and move it up slightly from above from where it is. Smallest amount you can go. Now this is not a tip that I came up with, this is what I've seen somebody else do. And essentially what that means is you can stand under here and you can just keep spamming jump. Zoom in a little bit so it's not bouncing around as much. There we go. So that's leveled up his jump. In fact, that's probably pretty useful for us, because actually what we're going to do now is going to go back to the program and notice that I set one up for jump. Now the version of this file that I uploaded to Google Drive, I think, actually has this config file already in it, so basically you'll get the same settings pretty much that I've got here, unless I make some modifications since the time that this video's come out. So what I've set this to do by default, this is specific for me, like I say, you can change it, and you can always change it back if you don't like your new settings, and it will remember obviously when you close this down and open it back up again, all of the ones that you've got added and the settings for them all. Okay, so we're going to try the jump one now. Essentially, what it's going to do is just press the space button. Now, I had a little bit of a tricky thing with the space button. Let's just get this going and I'll explain. But I'm sure you can work out what the rest means. It's going to wait 50 milliseconds before it presses space again, and then after it's pressed space 50 times, it's going to wait for 3 seconds to let the stamina pool fill back up. Now, because I'm pressing space quite a lot, and because I'm only... I said do it 50 times, but actually I'm pressing every 50 milliseconds. So you could probably set this to every half a second if you wanted, and decrease that to maybe 5 times if you wanted, or if you wanted to jump 10 times. But I quite like this. It just basically just spams the space bar, so it gets as many in as it can really. So let's just press go on that one again. Wait 3 seconds, gives you time to get in the game, and now he's automatically jumping. So I set that probably a little bit too high for my stamina bar. So my stamina bar didn't get all the way to the top there, as you'll notice. So as soon as he's finished, let's make a quick stop on that, and we'll say okay. Because I got a larger stamina pool, we'll set that to 4 seconds. So I changed that to 4,000. Okay, let's save that, and we'll try the jump again. because I've eaten the raspberries and things like that. Now I can click go on this and then quickly click go on the food button straight after if I wanted to. Click go on the option to eat food, and you could add more. For example, I set the raspberry one to be hotkey 5. You could have one for 6 and 7, so he's automatically always filling up those 3 pieces of food. You can have as many running at once as you want. Okay, so that's basically the principle of it. We'll let this guy. You saw that I just leveled up. Hopefully he'll level up again relatively soon. You might be able to place this platform slightly lower so you can actually spam more in. But like I say, this one's even better for the fact that you can literally. He's never going to need. There you go. The jump level's increased. He's literally never gonna break his tool or anything like that. He's literally just going to keep jumping on the spot. Let him finish this last one and then we'll move on to another one. So stop that. So I got eat berry. Now I just called it that myself. Like you can create, like I say, I just added these in. You could delete them if you want and just create a new one, give it whatever name you want. Literally this is just a label, it doesn't affect anything, it's just so you remember what these things do. Okay, so now let me just move that out of my head. We got a sprint one here. So what I've said here is actually I only want you to do this once. I want you to press the W key. Now that does need to be uppercase, but you can use a different key if there was some kind of sidestepping thing. I don't know, whatever key you want, and whether to hold shift. Now I haven't done a control or anything like that because I'm not sure if you could even use the sneak thing on in this game. I did think about this actually. Maybe you could trap a deer or something inside your base and just keep creeping around in a room next to it or something like that. But I'm not 100% sure if that would work and how easy it would be to trap a deer. But anyway, so essentially we're doing the same thing, and I'm just going to train my sprinting. Now, basically, it's just against the wall. Just keep the guy against the wall and just let him keep running. So now he's going to sprint for, I can't remember what I set it to actually. Essentially, he's holding shift down and the W key for a set amount of time. So that was, what, about 5 seconds, I think. So now, because I got the larger stamina bar there, again, hands-free, I'm not holding the W key, I'm not holding the shift key, he's literally running on his own, he's stopped on his own. So when he's finished this sprint, because I don't want to interrupt because it's actually holding down shift, and then sometimes you've got to press shift a couple of times for it to think, oh, you're not pressing shift anymore if you do it in the middle of the thing. But let's check both of those just to show you that version of it. You can't eat more raspberries, you see, so I checked the raspberry one and the sprint one. So both of those run at the same time. Wait till he finishes this one, and then I'll give you another quick demo of the let's stop all. What we'll do is we'll do jump, eat berry, and sprint at the same time. Okay. So now he's trying to run forwards, and he's trying to sprint, and he's trying to eat berries every 60 seconds. Now, this is probably not. You could get this right if you would have to set up your config. That's the thing you might get. It might, because it's trying to click buttons for you, obviously. Stop all. There we go. So you could actually get him to do the jump and the sprint at the same time, like efficiently, if you got them leveled out right. For example, you might have a jump on its own when you only want to train jump, you might have a sprint on its own when you only want to train sprint, but you might have a auto jump and auto sprint option that you can just add to the bottom. You could add an auto jump and auto sprint and just check them to auto start, so you know that when you're trying to do those two things at the same time, that's what he's going to do. So basically, that's pretty much all of the. I put some notes here. You guys are not supposed to see that. I'm trying to run this all in one thing, though I'm not a big editing fan. Oh, and you could also do the same thing with the axe. So let's just show that working. So let's go back while I redo the thing. Now again, I've called this one spear, but it'll work just the same for the axe. I actually have an attack one up here that does it slightly differently, but essentially you're going to get the same result. So let's try spear. But again, it's just clicking basically. So now he's going to level up his axe picking. So now I did think of another use of this, and one of the other uses is for cooking. Now the problem is that he can't move left to right. You could actually make it so that in fact, in theory, you could go left to right. You could have hold D, loop for 3 seconds, hold A and loop for 3 seconds, but make sure you start that one directly after or something like that, and then just keep making it, just keep spamming the E key to keep putting food down and collecting the food. So basically you could walk from left to right. If you set it up right, you could get him to walk from... If anybody does do that, I'd be really... You notice he just leveled up again. If anybody does set up one for cooking, I would love to hear if that worked. And for swimming, I'm not sure how you would use this for swimming as well. And the reason that I don't know how you would do that is because, you know, how would you set that up in your house? Maybe you could have a... In fact, in theory, you could do it the same way that you do it with the food thing that I just mentioned. You could make it hold W for 5 seconds and then hold S for 5 seconds. Just make sure you start the hold S directly after, and then he could, in theory, keep walking into water and out of water. I would recommend building a base around that and building some steps or something, and then he could just keep walking down and coming back up. In theory, I've not tried that myself, but it's an idea. So I think I just leveled up my axe twice, and I'm just kind of sitting here not doing anything. And again, the same with the spear. If the axe breaks, he's just going to stand there and just keep punching it, and he's going to be leveling up his melee. Okay, so the sneak I mentioned earlier, and I think that's pretty much it. So this is essentially just running macros. You could, like I said earlier, you could get it to sort your food out as well, and all 3 pieces of food, and you can configure the settings to let him finish. I'll let him finish this run, and then I will come out and stop. Okay, so like I say, you can add as many as you want. I've just added a bunch down there. It's gonna look pretty much the same, but you know, you can add as many of these things as you want. You can get as many as you want to run at the same time. Though I've only tried it with 3 myself, so you know, if anybody has issues with that, let me know. And like I say, this is only really designed for this game, so it might not accept all keys. I've only really tried. I've tried the space. I've tried the I made it specifically to hold the shift key for the run-in, and a few things like that. So yeah, if you get any ideas for anything else that I could add that might help you configure it for your specific needs that other people might find useful. But basically, this is an auto training macro that I wrote that hopefully will help somebody level up. And basically, I'm going to end this video now, and I'm going to leave my guy and get my jump to level 100. Which apparently makes you jump like 3 times your own height. So I could probably leave this on all night, wake up in the morning, I'm probably going to be level 100. I'm not sure exactly how long it'll take, but I'd imagine it would be quite a high level, and then I could do the same with the sprints and things like that. And like I say, maybe you could train both the sprint and the jump in the same evening. Anyway, let me know how you get on with it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And I hope you find it useful.